Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
We missed you.
It's been a whole week. It's
Hello.
been a whole long week without you.
I know. I've had withdrawal symptoms.
Can we see your whole head? Can you put it up a little bit?
That's better.
I want to point out. Can I point out one of the comments we got on our video?
Go straight into it.
Yeah, I just want to say something because I want to make a reference to Dan's hat.
All right.
Somebody said, "Why is that guy?"
Okay.
Somebody said, "Why is that guy wearing a bedpan on his head?" I thought that was the most ridiculous comment I've ever heard. So if you're watching, person, we love Dan's hat. Just want to start with that.
Bedpan, okay.
Isn't that just silly? Oh, it doesn't look like a bedpan.
Now that you mention it, does look like a bit like a toilet seat.
That's because he's stirring all the shit and getting all the shit.
Really?
Getting rid of all the crap on the planet.
Now I can't see anything.
Okay, whatever. Listen, people in Australia don't know what I know they know what a cowboy hat is. Come on. Everybody knows what a cowboy hat is.
Look, it was probably a robot.
Probably, yeah.
Hey, Dan.
So,
we
yes.
had, for some reason, we had 37,000 views on our last video. I don't know why.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Because people love Dan.
They do.
They might like us a little bit, but they love you, Dan. I think.
Yeah, with a bedpan on my head.
36.9 thousand of those were in America because there were a lot of shares in America. So it's good for you.
Yeah.
We're happy. And it's been a long.
I think there's a few more than that in Australia too.
Yeah, no, I know there are a few, and we love you.
You're getting some in Australia.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
It's all good.
What's going on there, Dan?
We're having hell over here.
What's going
3
on?
nights in a row, our live chat. They've been chopping our live chats. I mean, I did like 30. Yeah. Well, it's something else is going on. I don't know. I've been here for 2 months. Done 30 or 40 live chats here. Never lost a one until 3 nights ago, and now we've lost 3 in a row. And it happens almost at the end. Something's going on. So we're trying to figure out a different way to do it. I might just have to start recording them and posting them because someone's not letting the live chats get out. It's not a coincidence that all of a sudden we lose 3 straight. And it's the message too, I think. You know, we're talking about what's going on right now, which they don't want us talking about it.
No, well, you're certainly not alone.
Because it's all good for us.
Yep.
All
sorts of people are being chopped.
Yeah.
In all sorts of places. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're on emergency mode right now. They're panicked. They're in a panic right now.
Well,
did you see the meltdown that Pelosi had?
No, I haven't. I didn't see that.
When yeah, well, she melted down when President Trump was acquitted in the impeachment. She went sideways on camera. You know, it's classic. They know what's coming. You know, they tried to say that the impeachment was to make sure that he could never run again. No, it had nothing to do with that. You can't do it. Number one, that's not what impeachment's for. What they were doing was they know he's still the president. So they really wanted to impeach him and get him out of office because they know that was their last shot. And her reaction was exactly what you'd expect. I think she knows what's coming.
I think there were a lot of the Hollywood celebrities that have jumped up and down too, that have gone sideways as well with their vitriol. That's
oh yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any.
They're backed into a corner.
Well,
They know. I mean, we're at the end game now.
if they happen to be watching this little
What's
video,
that?
this is a little dance to the celebrities and the socialites and the global elite. You're going down, down, down. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and it's setting in, and that's why they're having these reactions, because they know how close they are to going down, and this is something they would have never believed could happen.
No, and
I mean, up until I think just recently, they didn't believe it. They didn't believe that they could be defeated,
You
and
know,
and it's starting to sink in.
they're trying so hard. Like Bobby Kennedy just had his Instagram shut down, 800,000 followers. You know, they're trying so hard to target the truthers and the voice community. Like, you know, and they're saying that they shut him down for spreading misinformation. Like, come on. And even my own husband, when I was like getting furious about it, he says, well, was he actually saying things that weren't true? I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're actually married. Like, I love you, but oh my goodness me, like, come on. Of course he's saying things that are true. People who are saying truth are getting censored. That's the point.
Right. And you know, the beautiful thing is nothing can stop what's coming. This is over for them. The only question is, you know, when are they going to announce it? When are they going to announce the arrest? I think this is already going down. I think it's happening right now. When are they going to announce it? And I keep telling the members, don't even talk about it. You know, we've had all these reports about the Pope and Pelosi, and, you know, a lot of these executions have happened. And I believe that's true. But I don't even go there anymore, because unless you could show them physical proof, that, you know, they're not going to believe it anyway. So just wait for the announcements to come. They're coming any day. They're not going to let this go on much longer.
Did you see Trump's response to the acquittal? Basically just coming
You know,
out.
you got the vaccinations.
I was just saying Trump's response to the acquittal.
I lost you there for a second.
Can you hear us? We lost him.
Yeah.
I was just saying Trump's response to the acquittal. He's basically telling you to wait, like it's going to be announced. Just wait. You know, he's basically laying it on a platter that there's some big news coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's telling us, he's sending signals to us. Yeah.
yeah, plus, like you say, Dan,
It's all good.
Yeah, this heavy push now for the vaccinations and all that. It's like they want to try and take as many people down before they get taken down as possible.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
They want to do as much damage as they can before they go. You know, and unfortunately, some people are lined up, which is sad in itself. You know, that people would get vaccinated for something that's, what is it, 99.2 or 3% recovery. I mean, it's sheep. They're sheep. You know, you got to take responsibility for your own health. I mean, this is going to be a good learning experience that we'll make sure this never happens again, because it's going to chill people when they see how evil this agenda was. They keep thinking, oh, this can't happen. You know, these people could never do things like this. Just wait till they find out the truth. They have no idea. Yeah, that they're willing to try and sterilize women with these. I mean, just wait till you see what they've been doing to the kids. I keep saying, it's going to spark the greatest spiritual awakening in mankind's history. That when they see these videos, when they see Frazzle drip, the world has changed overnight, because they can't deny it anymore. And it's going to drive them back to God.
Yeah, there's also,
because they're going to be so fearful.
there's a lot of talk about you know, whether you want to believe it or not, that, you know, basically we're all vibration. We're everything that is a vibration. So
Energy.
and yeah, and some people they won't be able to raise up their vibration. They will not be able to. They'll be stuck in that sort of third dimensional thinking. The vibration, it's so controlled now that they will not be able to rise up. So it's it plus all this sort of
Well, yeah, and that
Hey,
well,
Dad,
yeah,
can I ask you something?
yeah.
I just want to ask you, like, for this vibration increasing, if there's anyone watching this and they think, oh, okay, well, what sort of steps can I take to ensure that I'm going to be on that path that's moving up in vibration? What can people do in their everyday life to awaken and open their heart?
I think the number one thing people can start doing is start thinking about other people. Start thinking about putting others first. If you just do that, you're on the right path. And it's the same advice for people that are struggling. I talk to people every day who, you know, they're having a hard time right now because of everything that's going on. And a lot of times it's because we put so much emphasis, which is just human nature, on our own condition, our own situation, that we kind of lose track of everything else. And when we shift to, instead of just being focused on our problems, that we try and help someone else through theirs, all of a sudden, good things start happening to us. And if everyone would do this, that's what the way is about, right? It's going down that path, where, again, this whole thing, it's easy when you understand that this is about how we live our lives every day, how we treat other people. Not that we have to take any crap, but when we see someone in need, we try and help that person out. And that will change our vibration. That will raise our vibration. That's what's going to get us. I mean, that's what our ascension is. That's what it's going to be, is when we start focusing on, and then we're seeing that, right? There's a lot of people right now, hundreds, well, tens of thousands around the world, who are doing that right now. You guys are doing it. We're doing it at the Watchmen. There's a lot of groups that are preaching that one way or another, and that's why we're taking our world back. This doesn't happen with just President Trump. I mean, we had to be a part of this. I mean, we changed the course by electing President Trump. If we don't elect President Trump, the cleanest way is tens of millions of people die in a civil war. If Hillary Clinton is elected and then there's a military coup, there's a civil war in America where millions die in that scenario. But we didn't have to go that route. You know, that was an option. If Hillary got elected, they were never going to let her have control of the government because they knew what they were going to do with North Korea. There was going to be a nuclear war. But then we have the flip side. All the liberals were already ready that if something happened where she got elected, didn't get control, you could just imagine in 2016, with the power that they wielded back then, it would have been a nightmare in America and probably around the world. It would have spread, right? Well, we averted that when we elected President Trump. We had that collective consciousness to understand that this was a very critical juncture. Well, the most critical juncture in world history, because if it goes any other way, it's ugly. And we avoided Armageddon in the physical. I think we shifted to a spiritual Armageddon. People know what's going on right now. There's pros and cons to that, right? Because on the one hand, we've got a lot less people suffering and dying. But on the other hand, the awakening process takes a little bit longer because they're not seeing all the progress that's being made, right? They don't know where they have to look.
Yeah. You know, I was just watching a little
You
clip.
guys still hear me?
Oh, yep. Can you hear us? We've got a bit of a delay. I was just watching a little clip before about all these people in the media and politically that are left talking about these re-education camps for Trumpers.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this is nothing new, but they're coming out with this sort of stuff now. We need to get these camps organized. We need to get these people in these camps right now because they're brainwashed by the Trump delusional syndrome, you know, and all this. And it's like, give it up, guys. Like,
right.
It's too late, you know, it's too late.
Well, but you know, it's the beautiful thing about this is that they're exposing themselves, right?
Agenda, yeah.
All the things they said were going to happen if Trump got elected, they're promoting. It's astounding in America, where we're supposed to be free, they can even be talking about this. I mean, it just goes to show how crazy things have gotten. You know, obviously, it's never going to happen in America, but just the fact that they're saying this on national TV, it's waking people up on both sides, really, because even the liberals are, you know, the people that are really good people that have just been misled, they're starting to ask questions. Wait a minute. I mean, people are making the correlation with Nazi Germany and you know, communist Russia. And they're right to make those connections because they have the same roots. You know, Hillary Clinton, you know, Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, you know, socialist, well, communist disguised as socialists in the 60s. It's a playbook from back then, which was the playbook from communist Russia. Stalin.
It's not just in America either.
All of Hitler's tricks.
We've got a lot of this talk.
What's that?
We've got a lot of this talk in Australia as well about rounding people up and taking them into, you know, they're called COVID camps, right? But
yeah,
but it's
well,
still...
it's all that globalist Nazi satanic pedophile influence. It's, you know, it's a little bit different in each country, but it's the same people pulling the strings, right? It's the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the cabal, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. They're pulling the strings around the world. Not anymore.
What I find extraordinary is in Australia, they've just had another outbreak of COVID in this one state in the South, Victoria, which has been the most heavily policed COVID state. Coincidentally, they're the most in bed state with China. So they've had another 5-day lockdown, you know, in Melbourne, and these poor people have been absolutely just traumatized for the last 12 months. And they've become so deeply ingrained and so deeply brainwashed that they're actually defending the authorities. They're defending the government for keeping them safe. And anyone who dares speak out against the government, they attack us. They tell us, you don't know what it's like. You're not here. You're just living up there in sunny Queensland. You don't know. You're not here. This is our government is saving us. And it's almost like too difficult for me to hear. That's the, what's that syndrome where the
Stockholm.
It's Stockholm Syndrome 101. It's like the abused attaching and loving the abuser.
Yeah. Having said that, though, on the other side of that, because thankfully there is a flip side of it, people are driving around in Victoria and taking photos of in small country towns and all around Melbourne, putting up signs saying, you know, hang the premier, get rid of him, he's murdering us. Like, you know, this guy's he's a Nazi, he's a communist, he's, you know. So there are more and more signs that people are putting up, which is good as well. So
it's
crazy.
when people look back, you know, in 5 years or whatever, they're going to be embarrassed how naive they were to believe that these globalist governments were out to help them. Because it's a sign of a lack of low intelligence. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hopefully this is a better line.
I changed spots. Maybe.
Yeah. This feels better already.
What's that?
It feels better already. You look better. He's not as distorted.
Right.
Yeah. I moved. So hopefully this is a better spot. We'll see.
All right.
Do you iron your
You
clothes?
see me okay?
The iron in the background.
He's in a hotel room.
You got the iron in the background.
Yeah.
It's to iron
Yeah,
out all
I
the
do.
wrinkles.
I actually iron my clothes sometimes.
Do you iron your t-shirts?
Amazing. No, I don't iron my t-shirts.
What about your jocks?
No,
They're too tight.
the jocks are too
Do you
tight.
iron your jocks?
Is that your jocks that are too tight, Dan? All right. All right. Hey, listen,
Okay.
Serious question for
You want to get more comments now?
Now, you know what? We got accused of starting a sex cult. That was one of the comments we got. So that was.
Oh, you know, hey. I know. I heard. Yeah, it's a sex
Apparently,
cult.
we shouldn't
Have
put
you noticed
orgasm. Apparently,
that
we
T-shirt?
shouldn't put,
It's
Too much.
apparently we shouldn't put orgasm and God in the same sentence. That was a crime.
yeah. Well, again, that's people not understanding
That's okay. That's okay.
what God really wants.
I know. Now,
Yeah.
moving away.
But it's do you guys have Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we had Valentine's Day.
Yeah, red. See, Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
I
It's
see.
Valentine's Day today here.
We were yesterday, obviously. We had it yesterday. So yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, happy
Okay.
Valentine's Day.
So
Dan.
go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I had a question.
Yeah, you guys too.
Yeah. About Jeffrey Epstein. If she ever stops coughing,
Yeah.
we'll get to it. Did you hear about supposedly Jeffrey Epstein was taken to the Capitol building on the 6th of January during the Capitol riots, but he escaped. Did you hear that? That's a joke.
I haven't heard that, and I would highly doubt that. I could see no reason for him to be there. What I've heard is that, and I'm even suspicious of this, although with his testimony, they could hang pretty much everyone. So that what I heard was that he actually cut a deal, and maybe the only one who got this deal, where he avoided death by turning and testifying against everyone else, and he got a life sentence. I don't know if that's true, because I was told nobody was going to get a life sentence. They were going to hang them all. So we'll see. We're going to know eventually. I don't think there's a chance in hell that I think if he's alive, I think he's still a giveaway. He's too high value a target. The only reason he would be there would be to testify, and I just doubt that on the 6th. It just doesn't make sense to me. It was like, when they said he got killed, I knew.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we won't waste any more time on that. But that was the story, that he was being taken to the Capitol building to actually testify. But and he escaped during the riots.
Yeah.
Enough.
Okay. I just, if he was there would have been teams of SEALs protecting him or guarding him. He's just not going to get away. You know, I just don't see that happening. These people are too good at what they do, and it was like when they said that somebody got to him in number one, just the fact that he was there was suspicious. He's probably the most high value prisoner in American history, and they're going to put him in with the general population. You know, no, something else was going on, and they were setting him up, I think.
All right.
It's all good.
Yeah. So apart from the impeachment, apart from Trump being let off, what other big stuff's happening in America? Because I've noticed that because a lot of people are being taken off, a lot of the news that's coming through is disjointed and it's confusing, and you know, it's been a big week for confusion. So have you got any clarity that we can sort of tap into?
Well, just the fact that this thing's starting to fall apart, that this is all a sham. You know, supposedly all the media was informed that the military is running the country right now, and they're basically just choosing to ignore it, which is, again, they're exposing themselves to insurrection charges because they're basically going along with the insurrection. These people could all hang for it. But what happens, though, when it's breaking down and people are getting arrested and they're having to put clones or body doubles out there, everything, it's like it's crumbling, right? It's all falling apart, just like we would expect it to.
Just like Joe Biden falling apart, right? How many malfunctions in the Biden character are there this week? What the hell?
Yeah, did you see the one of his nose? Did you see that?
The nose, the mask.
Oh, you know, it's you know, they got him signing executive orders with his right hand, with his left hand. I mean, it's embarrassing how bad it's getting. It's embarrassing for them that they're presenting it, and really, it's all they've got. They're just cobbling together whatever they can to keep the narrative going. But what's more embarrassing is the American people. This is all in front of their faces, and it's cognitive dissonance. They got the blinders on. They don't want to see the truth. They want to see what they want the truth to be. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying over and over again, cognitive dissonance is the world's biggest threat right now.
Hey, I just realized something. Cognitive dissonance, right? CD, it's like the opposite of DC. We're doing a reversal.
Yeah,
It's
good one.
crazy, right? It's like
crazy.
cognitive dissonance DC. It's like the reverse of that, and all that weird, creepy shit that's happening under DC, like some of that information that's coming out about the tunnels under DC and the absolute horrors. I watched Michael Jaco and Gene Decode do a talk about what's going on under DC, and it makes the rest of the world look like kindergarten, right? And apparently a big bomb that went off in DC, and even you know, Candace Owens reported on it. There was some sort of big bomb, sort of earthquake, you know, sound that went off in DC in the middle of the night, and they're saying that this is the blowing up of the tunnels and the closing down of this old paradigm.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing that we've seen around the world, really. You know, people are hearing all these explosions, you know, in places where you don't have earthquakes, where they've never had anything like this before. Well, yeah, they're cleaning out the underground bases.
Oh, the dumb facilities are getting destroyed.
Yeah, there's been a war going on underground for 4 years now. And it's all going to come out. It's not that, you know, we never had to fire a shot. It's that nobody knows that a shot's been fired yet. There's a lot of guys who are going to go down as heroes who didn't make it back. I mean, this was not easy because these people were not going to give up without a fight. And also they've got some technology that the world's not even aware of, some of the stuff that's going on down there. And like you said, the horrors of it, what they're doing. I mean, I think under Washington, they had an adrenochrome production facility running. You know, there were people down there that had been underground for 30 years. Can you imagine that? 30 years in a cage, being kept alive so they could torture you to get your adrenochrome levels up, so they could harvest the adrenochrome from your body. It's just, it's the worst horror film you can imagine. And these are the things that are going to spark the greatest spiritual awakening in our history, because, you know, it's been easy for people to think, oh, everything's great, and these kind of things can never happen in our world. Well, guess what? They have been happening. It's your worst nightmare. And when the cognitive dissonance wears off and they can see clearly, they're going to rush to God. They're going to beg for God to accept them. Because part of the reason this was allowed to happen was people having their blinders on and not wanting to know the truth and ignoring what's right in front of their faces.
You know,
You know,
and the cabal, they're feeding into this cognitive dissonance, because I saw the second comedy skit today that I've seen in recent weeks. And this one was a comedy skit where they were like on a stage and they had this woman dressed as a witch. You know, interestingly enough, they chose a witch. She had the big nose and she had her cauldron, and she's like, oh, I'm part of the QAnon, and I harvest adrenochrome, and I eat children in these underground tunnels, right?
Yeah.
So these comedy skits, I'll show it to you later. It's hilarious. These comedy skits, and then even my husband's like, see, Bella, it's all just like bulldust. I can't believe you're down this tunnel, right? They're making us, they're trying to make us look crazy, right? So they're feeding right into that cognitive dissonance, which is another psyop on top of a psyop, right? So it's not their fault if they can't take their blinkers off, if they can't take their blinkers off, because they're just getting taken further and further into cognitive dissonance.
They don't even know they've got blinkers on.
No, that's right.
Yeah. At some point, your intuition has got to kick in, and you've got to start seeing things aren't making sense, you know. Now, some of them are going to be hardcore, and they're going to have their red pills force-fed. That's why I've been saying, you know, you have two choices here. You accept the red pill, and you have whatever time we have until it's announced to learn this over time, or you get your red pill force-fed when the announcements come and the videos come and the confessions and the trials and the executions where you can't deny it. When we get to that point, no one in the world is going to be able to deny this, because it's going to be on whatever the new mainstream media is. It's going to be on 24/7. And to begin with, it's going to be coming on these broadcasts where the only thing on TV, frazzle drip, and videos like frazzle drip, and these people confessing to these crimes. And of course, they're going to try and claim that it's all, you know, CGI or whatever. But when they don't have CNN lying for them anymore, and they have truth tellers, it changes everything. We can't discount how big Project Mockingbird is. Project Mockingbird was started after the Second World War by the CIA to control the mainstream media. You have to give these people credit. They were good at what they did.
Oh, yeah.
They really got to the core of psychological warfare and how to use it.
This, you know, we've spoken about this before, Dan, how it's so important now, more important than ever, to trust your intuition, to trust your intuition. And I just was reading a little article yesterday about how they've, and you're talking about getting to the psychological core. So the psychological core for them is to remove us from our intuition, which is our connection to source
Yep.
energy. So I
Yep.
was just reading an article that scientifically now they've put out a study that says that the highest form of intelligence is intuition. Forget your university degree, forget all of that, because that's going to block you from your intuition. So it just all falls into place, doesn't it?
Yeah. See, they know that. That's why they fought so hard to discredit God, to try and convince us that God doesn't exist, that it's foolishness, that it's ancient, ritual, that you're out of it if you believe in God. Even it was almost some people were afraid to say they believed in God in public because
That was me.
It was the conditioning of these people with their psyops. They had it down pat, and we went along with it. I mean, they knew what to do. They knew what buttons to push to get us to go along, or get the majority of people to go along.
Well, that's right. And I mean, it begs the question now, who are the people that wrote the psychology books? Who are the people that, they've created these psychology books to twist it all around and to lay blame at the feet of people when it isn't their fault and all of this. It's such a bloody mess, an entanglement of neuroses and making people feel guilty and, all this stuff. It's thank
Right.
God it's all being blown apart.
We I talk about this all the time. We have to understand that these people are monsters. They're just ignorant or fallen for it, but they're not going to support satanic pedophiles. They're not monsters. They're not going to go along with this. And we need to accept them back, because you can imagine with that guilt of now knowing that you supported someone like Hillary Clinton your whole life, and you lost friendships and attacked your friends and family in some cases in defense of someone like this. Just think when they see Frazzle Drip, how they're going to be rocked. I mean, it's going to drive some people to suicide. And in fact, we've got now, we're taking volunteers to help counsel cognitive dissonance sufferers, because it's going to be a tsunami of people who are crushed by this, that it's going to so shock them that they could be so wrong most of their life, and that it's all true, and even worse than they thought, and the magnitude of it, the people that are involved, it's chilling to the average person. You can see why people that are just learning this excuse me, and don't know the whole picture, right? They don't see the big picture. They only see the satanic pedophiles and what they've done. They don't understand that it's over now. That's why when I talk to people about doing this job, counseling, it's being positive and focusing on the future, and that, yeah, what happened was horrific, but it's over now. And what we're headed into 1,000 years of peace and prosperity, the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, man's greatest age. There's a lot to be here for. It's going to be heaven on earth, a world that's completely different, when this evil influence that we've had for thousands of years, when that's removed, at the same time the way is taking hold and people are living their lives in service of others, it changes the world. And We get 1,000 years of peace and prosperity. We get man's greatest age. We get a world that is beyond our comprehension, because we've never experienced anything close to this, because we've always had this evil hovering over us that would never allow us to get the world that God intended, or in America, the country that our founders intended. Justice is coming. The rule of law is coming back to the world. God is coming back like never before. And that changes everything.
Yeah, it's this thing with the cognitive dissonance, and for all those people that rushed out and bought Obama's book and, you know, supported Hillary and all of this sort of stuff.
Right.
When all of this comes out and they're like, these people that I followed, that I loved, they're telling me they're satanic pedophiles. There's going to be a mental sort of crazy.
Yes.
But the thing is, at the same time, there'll be also the introduction of the med beds and the future technology and all of that. That's going to balance it. It'll make it a lot easier.
That's why we have to focus on those positive things. You know, the past is gone. You know, we have to move forward now. It was horrible, but the world we're headed into is the one that God wants us to have. And again, just think about it. I get chills about the world we're headed into. It's going to be amazing.
You know, what I find so difficult about this time, and my fellow watchmen and the people who are watching, you might feel the same about this, is it truly is difficult for me at the moment to hold the line. It's being attacked and brought down for just speaking the truth. Though I'm getting attacked and torn down because it shatters the fabric of their reality. They don't want to believe or face that what I'm saying could be a possibility. So for me, it's just about holding my center and just knowing that we're fighting for freedom and we're fighting for everyone and the freedom of all our sovereign beings. And if you're watching this, this is what we volunteered for. We came to the earth to serve in this awakening, and this is what we signed up for. So suck it up and hold the line and just be okay with where we're at.
That's it. And I keep saying it's we're kind of separating the wheat from the chaff, finding out who's really all in here. And you know, it's the ones that are all, we've got to hold the line, and we are. There's nothing, like I keep saying, nothing's going to change this. We've already accomplished this. It's just holding the line, and that's mostly for our own sanity, right? To keep centered and to keep on track and not backslide into depression or whatever, that we keep focused on the positive in the future. And that's why every day my message is positive, 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 because the negative is done. You know, they're still in their death throes. They're still fighting. It's like that snake when you cut the head off. They're still rather on the ground moving, but they're done. They're finished. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
they're in their death throes.
The head's been cut off, but the tail is still swishing around.
Just exactly. And it's all good.
We talk about, you know, that there's that negative side. There's also I've seen a few people have come up to me and they've got little questions. Hey, Janie, what do you think about this? Hey, Janie, what do you think about that? And it's very quiet and it's very silent. But these are people that they haven't asked these questions before. What do you think about this person? And it's like,
we're getting that's happening. I mean, and it started to come in trickles, you know, it's picking up steam. And then I keep telling the members, when they make the announcements, get ready for the tsunami, because that trickle is going to turn in we're going to be overwhelmed. That's why I'm trying to get ahead of the game and get people signed up, because we're going to be overrun with calls. Because we have thousands of members talking to thousands more people, and we up to this point, it's mostly been planting those seeds, right? For 6 years now, we've been planting seeds that are all going to come back at the same time. So
then something that we could do for this, which you know, we could probably talk about more in depth after this video, but we could pre-record a heap of videos that are ready to go so that you could like have them on your website.
Yeah.
You can pre-record like satanic
That's a good idea.
this, that. Yeah, it's the app. We pre-record and go, okay,
Yeah.
if you're suffering from this, have a little chat. Why don't you watch this video? And if you've still got questions, give us a call back. You can
That's a great
record
idea.
a lot of this.
Talking about that, and we were talking
Definitely.
about the cognitive dissonance app, right? So I thought, well, I'll start a list of topics that we could include in the cognitive dissonance app. I got to about 40, and I thought, holy God, that's only like the beginning of that. That's what I
know it.
in 5, you know, in like 5 minutes. I've written this long list, and it's like,
do you know what? Dan, we could pre-record this stuff. We could start doing this stuff now. We don't have to wait until all this.
No, we should. We should be doing it. We need to be doing it.
Yes,
because once it happens, we're already behind, right? So we can get ahead of it a little bit. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, we should do that for sure.
We're doing it. I'm an action woman, so if I say I'm doing it, we're like, boom.
All right. Yeah, we need to, because that will take a big load off. That's a great idea.
It needs to be done. There's no question of it.
For sure. Yeah.
What else?
You know, it's all good. I think, you know, Wano Saban put out something that this is going to be a big week coming up. I kind of thought that they wanted to get past the impeachment. They didn't want to do anything in the middle of the impeachment to make it look like it was political. So I think the green light's on now. So hopefully we're going to get some announcements this next week. If we don't, we hold the line. You know, we keep pushing forward. We keep doing our job. We keep red pilling and preparing. We look at every day as an opportunity to get more people on board, because we're never going to have this opportunity again. That's the thing about between now and the time it's announced is we've got, you know, Litecoin is still, you know, a couple $100. When this blows, Litecoin is going to jump to 1,000 in a matter of a week or two. Same with silver. There's still the opportunity to have a huge impact financially for people. And the more people we get in now, the more people they're going to be able to help, because it's a lot different when Litecoin's 200 than when it's 1,000, right? It really cuts down on what you're going to have to work with to pay it forward. So this opportunity, this has never happened before in history, will never happen again. This is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth. And to get in on the greatest transfer of wealth, you got to get in before it blows up, right? Once there's still going to be a lot of money to be made after it blows up, but not like we're going to see. Not like the people that were in it in the beginning.
And like you say, it's not going to be as easy for people to buy it. You know, I was speaking with my friend. I was speaking with my friend the other night, and you know, 10 years ago, we were at work one night, and this kind of crazy guy came in, and he's like, "You guys have got to buy silver. You got to buy silver." And we sort of looked at each other and thought, "Who is this crazy man?" Like, you know, this guy was 10 years before his time, but he planted a seed in me. The seed in me was like, one day silver, one day silver. And then when I heard you, it was like, now's the time. I just knew it. You know what I mean? I just knew it. And I said to him the other night, have you bought your silver yet? Have you bought any silver? And he's like, no, I haven't. And I said, man, just go and buy it. Just go and buy 10 ounces. It's going to cost you $450. Like, just do it.
Right.
You're not going to lose anything on it.
That's and you know, it's funny, I've been having the same conversation with members who are like holding money back in the bank, and I'm like, listen, God has given you the greatest financial gift you're ever going to get. He wants you to take full advantage of this. Why would you accept 1 for 1 for your dollars when you can get 100 to 1 minimum with silver, and it's going to be thousands to 1 with Litecoin? If you're concerned, buy all silver. Listen, silver's been money for 5,000 years. It's never going to go down. It's only going to go up from here, and it's going to go up big. It's going to go back to its historical ratio, which is 10 to 1. It's been running 100 to 1 the last couple of years because of the manipulation. Once the manipulation is removed, it goes back to the historical ratio. What that means, we know that China, Russia, America all have gold-backed currencies ready to come out. A lot of the experts are saying when that happens, gold's going to jump to 50,000 an ounce, they think, in that ballpark. Well, that means silver's worth $5,000 if you go to the historical ratio, 10 to 1, right? It's $27 or $28 right now. To go to $5,000 maybe by this summer, you're crazy to have your money in the bank. You're leaving money on the table. This is money. Don't think of it as about being greedy. Think about this is a tool. God wants us to use these tools to pay it forward, to help people through this rough patch we're going to be going through, to build the foundation of his church. It makes perfect sense. So why leave it on the table? I've got every liquid penny I have in physical silver and Litecoin. Every penny. I got just enough in the bank to what I need to spend for the week, right? That's what everybody should be doing.
And the
Take
man.
every advantage of every dollar.
There's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose.
No, there's no. You in silver, you can argue with cryptocurrencies. Well, they could possibly go to zero. That's not going to happen. But you can argue that. You can't argue that with silver. Silver's been money for 5,000 years. Going to be money way in the future. And the beauty about silver is all the technological advances that are coming that require silver. I think it's eventually going to pass gold in price. I think in 10 years, silver is more expensive than gold.
Well, let's face it too, there's a hell of a lot of gold on the planet. And,
yeah.
I've heard that silver is not as abundant in its.
Yes. Well, see, that's what's really going to skew the ratio. What they're talking about, what was just taken out of the Vatican in gold, that could push silver even higher, I think, because like you say, I think there is far less silver than gold when you get right down to it. And it was because places like the Vatican were hoarding it, right? They didn't have to spend it, they could sit on it. Well, they've got basically thousands of years of gold stored away, which I think is a good thing for silver buyers.
It makes,
So
intuitively, it makes.
It's all good.
Intuitively.
God showed me physical silver and Litecoin for a reason.
Yeah.
And they're both going to be huge.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't have huge amounts of money, and I don't have huge amounts of money invested in these things, but I have enough that it's going to make a huge difference. Not only in my life.
I mean,
that noise?
That's really weird.
well, it's a matter of what. There's some people, like people who have businesses, they have a little bit different situation because they need a cash flow to run their businesses. So depending.
Hang on, there's something going on here.
Everything good?
No, there's something really weird happening right
There's
here.
a presence here right now, like an angelic presence.
Even I can feel it. I've gone all goosebumpy.
No.
Really?
No, it's not that.
No.
Yeah, I know that that's you, but there's something else here.
Yeah, no, there's. Anyway.
Huh. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that was
okay.
like angelic.
Anyway, we're not alone, are we? Hey, we're not alone.
Hey, crazy.
Beautiful.
Crazy what's going on.
Yep.
Good stuff. I'm telling you, people are going to be amazed at the world we have in a couple of years. It's not going to take long. This is going to happen pretty quickly, I think. It's going to be amazing. Greatest time to be alive in history.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We had a visit from angels while we
We
were
did.
talking. My
We did.
goodness.
Yeah.
Even Janie could feel it.
Even I could feel it. I'm not switched on. I'm not
Yeah.
tuned in, but yeah.
Yeah, that was
I'm
intense.
telling you, it's this, you know, we've lost touch with our spirituality because they wanted us to lose touch with it, right? The majority of people. When we get connected back into that, it's what brings heaven on earth.
You know, and that's going to be a lot easier when we stop adding fluoride to the water, glyphosates to the foods, nanotechnology, all that stuff goes.
And instead of trying to destroy that connection, we're trying to enhance it. It just steamrolls, right? There's no stopping.
Step one is to acknowledge that it exists. And
yeah.
From there, we move forward.
See, that's what Frazzle Drip does. It makes it very clear to the world there is evil in the world, but God is all powerful. God is why we get this second chance, because we were this close to giving it all away, to losing everything, to these people taking 100% control of the world. Mm-hmm. That's when people finally understand that's what's going to drive that awakening, because they're going to want God in their life. They're going to understand how important it is and how it'll enhance their lives. It's going to be like an obsession for people, I think.
You know, and I'd like to share a little story about how connected we are, how connected we all are. But once you open your heart and your soul to this, I had a dream before I bought my little puppy, and she came to me, a little puppy, and she said, I'm coming to the earth to be your galactic guide. And I want my name to be Gigi for short. I'm going to be your guide, she tells me. So I get this puppy. She's going to be my guide. My son is teething. He's having the worst teething pain in history. It's been a complete nightmare. It's been an absolutely horrible experience. Yesterday, my son wakes up and he's brand new. He's like a brand new baby. I was like, oh my God, thank God for that. But my dog was acting really weird. She was whimpering. She was crying. She was acting really out of character. I thought, oh my God, there's something wrong with her. Maybe she's been poisoned. I left her for a bit. She all day. I took her to the vet. She spent the whole entire day at the vet. The team were trying to diagnose what was wrong with her. Wait for it. She's got teething pain. My dog literally took my son's teething pain away.
Yeah.
That's how connected we are. When we open ourselves up to how connected we are to our family members, to our community, to all the other beings on the earth, what you do to yourself, you're doing to someone else, because we are connected.
Yeah.
We are connected beings on the earth. That's why we be kind to ourselves. We be kind to those around us.
Yes, exactly. It's, it's all part of the way, it's not rocket science. It's in our human nature. We are inherently good beings. We've gone down the wrong path because of the negative influence. But once that's gone, we're back to where we should be.
And not only is it not rocket science, but it's the seed from which rocket science can come.
Yes, it's that platform, that base, that foundation that we can do anything from. There's nothing that we can't accomplish with this energy, this power behind us. It's the power of our minds tapped into the power of God. We're unstoppable. And that's what these monsters have been afraid of for thousands of years, of us getting to this point. This is their worst nightmare that's coming. It's their total destruction coming because we got the power that they've been trying to keep us from.
We got the power.
Yeah.
We got the power. Yeah, we have. We've got the power. And
Could be awesome.
we just need to allow it to flow through.
Yeah.
It's really very
And it's happening. It's
very
unstoppable now. We've passed the event horizon.
Yep.
There's no going back. And they're starting this. And what we're seeing now, and they're lashing out. They're starting to understand, and it's going to get better for us and worse for them. They're going to be exposed more and more every day as they go through this, as everything starts to crumble around them, and more arrests start happening, and they have a harder time finding clones to put in front of the camera to take up the spot of the person that's been arrested.
I mean, imagine how much money these people must be taking to, because they're obviously getting paid a lot of money to act like a clone and pretend to be somebody else. Like, I don't understand, if they came to me and said, oh, you look exactly like your Angelina Jolie, can you play Angelina Jolie? I'd be like, absolutely not. Where the hell is Angelina? Right?
Yeah, right.
These people are selling their souls to play Joe Biden or to play Hillary Clinton. I mean, are they being brainwashed? Are they being MK Ultra'd into it? I don't know.
I think partly. I think there's definitely some of that going on. Some of them were created just for that role. So it's like, I don't know that they have a say in it. It's like, I don't, do they even have souls? Does a clone have a soul? I don't know.
Have they been genetically bred and kept in cages and only pulled out when they're needed?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to know all of this.
No wonder people think we're crazy.
For our purposes, all that we need to know is that the end is here. Everything that's hidden is going to be known. We're going to know the truth about everything. So to me, it's okay, whatever. I'm just along for the ride. I'm kind of interested to see how it all, we know how it's going to end, but all the details. I mean, there's a lot of stuff it's virtually everything that we have been taught, everything that we think we know about the world, about the universe. We can't believe anything because almost all of it is different than what they've told us. Almost all of the things they said were bad for us, are they really bad? We're going to know the truth instead of what they wanted us to believe the truth was. It's going to be amazing.
Simple health remedies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's herbal remedies for almost everything that every ailment we have can be cured through nature. And I think we've got all of the cures. Just a matter of releasing them. Just think about cancer. I mean, everybody. I can't think of a friend who hasn't had a loved one die of cancer. And it's curable.
It's hard finding anyone on the earth that hasn't had a loved one or a family member or relative or friend that's died of cancer. And, back in the 80s, Jane and I have talked about this. When somebody had cancer, it was like, oh my God, that's terrible. But now it's like, oh, such and such got cancer. Oh, yeah. It's just like, oh, such and such got a cold. It's that common that nobody even reacts. They're like, oh, that's bad.
And that alone, that was getting worse as we're supposed to be making all these advances medically. That I always had trouble with that. This isn't right. This is something else. This is, and like I said, when I was 12, I knew that there were influences that were working against mankind. And God she showed me all of these things. Yeah, this is something you got to look out for. There's something going on here. For sure. It was engineered.
I had a family member die a couple of years ago from cancer, and the particular cancer that she had she'd been one of the longest living people on the planet with this cancer. She'd had it for 10 years. And they wanted to just use her as a guinea pig. They wanted to just keep shoving and pushing and prodding and seeing how far they could push it, and nothing would kill her. And then, you know, the very last, you know, chemo she had, she really didn't want it, but because she's supported by the government, she gets forced into it because of her sickness benefit and the payment. It's like, oh, if you don't have it, then, you know, you know, and the last round of chemo, she had the last round of chemo, and that killed her. So then it's finally like, oh, yep, it took 11 years and 6 months, and it was chemo round number 19, you know. You know, what her body and soul could withstand was phenomenal, until eventually her soul said, I can't take this anymore. I'm tapping out.
Well, and it's basically they're torturing people to death.
Exactly, like what's happening underground. They're doing it above ground willingly, getting people to consent willingly. And that's brainwashing 101.
And they feed off of that pain and that suffering. It's sickening how their system works. You know, that gives them energy. They thrive off of that negative energy, that fear, that suffering, the pain they cause. Just think of the world we're going to have without it.
Oh my goodness.
All right, start thinking about the list, Dan, of things that we're going to talk about, okay?
Because we're going to pre-record this, and we're going to get this app out there. Cognitive dissonance app. Anyone that you're watching, any of the Watchmen, we're going to create a cognitive dissonance app. So come back to us if you've got friends that, you know, are struggling with this, because we're going to have a place for them to land when this all, you know, breaks out.
And suggestions with ideas on topics to cover.
Yeah, if anyone's got an idea for a topic, let us know. You know, highlight it in the comments. We'd love to hear about what topics that you'd like covered in this cognitive dissonance, or what you've come up in, you know, in your life.
All right, now I'll just quickly run through the list that I've got, right? So we've got satanic pedophilia, the CIA, FBI, the UN, the World Health Organization, the Crown of England, the Vatican, the DUMS, artificial intelligence, 5G frequencies, medbeds, healing technologies, COVID-19, dirty doctors, Luciferianism, Bohemian Grove, extraterrestrial, dark side of the moon, Antarctica, organ harvesting, Project Mockingbird, Hollywood, Tavistock, Tesla, Q, JFK Jr., Dallas, 911, the Pentagon, Nasara, adrenochrome, bloodline families, popes, royal families, children hunting parties. You know, I mean, that's just, you know, off the top.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, yeah, it goes to show you how sick these people were.
And I just want to put a call out to the universe while we're here. Sorry, Dan, to cut you off. If you want us to create this cognitive dissonance app, then find a way for the money to come to us to create this app, because we are willing to create it. But to create an app like this is going to invest time and money. So universe, if you want this made, show up, please.
Yeah, and then we can do the things we can do with what we have, you know.
Of course we can do what we can do with what we have, but we live in a planet and a life where we still have to eat and live and pay our living expenses. So we need to be able to do that if you want us to create this app, universe. Just
yeah.
At the end of the day, we trust the universe will supply us all that we need in every. So it doesn't. Money's just an energy. It's no.
It's amazing how at every turn, when something needed to happen, it's happened on this 6-year journey. So yeah, it's all going to work.
All right, my darling. It looks like we're over the hour, so we'll.
We're actually nearly 90 minutes.
Wow.
We talked it down today, or up.
We had that break too.
Yeah, but not for long. Anyway, we love you, Dan.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't talk before. What were you saying? Anything super important then?
Yeah. No worries. I forgot it.
She's always cutting you off.
Well, you can't get a word in if you don't cut him off a little bit, because he could literally talk for 90 hours without breathing. I mean, he doesn't even blink. He doesn't blink his hair. He doesn't scratch his nose. He just like intent, you know, and talks. And I'm like, he doesn't even have a drink. He doesn't even like.
Are you a robot, man? He does drink.
Oh yeah, no, he does. He does have the odd drink. But Dan, you're a machine. You can literally like talk and not come up for air. So I got to butt in if I want to say something occasionally.
He's been talking for 6 years, Bella.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm used to
I-
sharing
I-
space.
Exactly, and I've been kind of on my own here, so yeah, you're right. You have to cut in. That's no problem.
No, that's
Cut in when you have to.
we've all got something to say. Every single person on the planet has got something to say, and every
Yeah.
single thing that that person says is valuable at one level or another. Even if it's stuff we don't want to hear,
Yeah.
it has value, and we need to
Yeah.
respect that and support each other as we move forward, because there's no point shooting anyone down. We have to
Yeah,
build it up.
especially moving forward, we have to take the high road. We have to do God's work, accept people back who have attacked us with open arms, because that's how we get through this. You know, like I talk about America, one of the things that's made America great is every time we've come up against a challenge, we've pulled together, we've united, and we fought through it together. We're going to do the same thing now, only this time it's going to be the whole world. Because the one thing about the Q movement is it's really united I'm amazed actually at how successful the Q movement has been to make this all happen. We just need to keep that ball rolling and we're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine.
We'll
Amazing
see
time.
you next week, Dan.
Yep.
Same place,
Awesome.
same time.
Looking forward to it.
And thanks everyone for watching and sharing. We really
Oh,
appreciate
you bet.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Please keep doing that, because they're trying at every turn to cut us off. So we've got to do it ourselves, which means, you know, keep sharing these videos.
Yep.
That's how we beat them.
Yep. All right.
We love you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
See you all later next
See you
week.
next-
Bye-bye.
Yep. See ya.
Bye, Dan.